And most of the people I serve, I won't find those people on Facebook. Probably not. May find them on Instagram. They may be on Twitter, but they're all up in LinkedIn 10 times twice on Sunday. Okay. Like say you're in the fashion lane and you have a brand of children's clothing that you need to market. You need to be all up on Instagram. Right. So first and foremost, you just need to you need to find out where your clients are and then start building a marketing strategy around how you're going to attack that.
Hey guys, welcome to episode number 245 of the Game On Girlfriend podcast. Today we are talking all things marketing. Now, if your hair just stood up on end a little bit and you're like marketing schmarketing, or I already know this stuff, or I can just Google it, or I'm just going to chat GPT my way through everything. I want you to hang on to your hats and glasses and listen to today's conversation with Alicia Branham. What you're going to hear today is a story of a woman who figured out how important marketing was by working for a company that was very unsexy, but very pivotal to your shower this morning. That's all we'll say about that. You have to listen in to hear the rest. But she really understood how important it was to communicate clearly to customers, to have people understand who you are and what you have to offer. And the reason this is so important is it is so loud now, right? It really is, I think, the loudest time it's ever been in history. And we must be able to stand out so that the people who are looking for us and need our help are going to be able to find us. So listening in on the way that Alicia looks at marketing and helps her clients with marketing might help you sort of shift and understand a little bit more about what you might need in your own business when it comes to marketing. We also take some time to discuss the importance of money, of hiring the right people in your business at the right time. Nothing wrong with being scrappy, but there comes a moment when we need to start hiring experts so that our business can excel. So I want you to really listen for that part and then apply it to your own business so that you can start to grow and succeed even more. Alicia Branham is the marketing powerhouse with a story beyond business savvy. Her journey reflects adaptability and determination, traits cultivated during her formative years when her parents uprooted her to Uruguay. Navigating the challenges of a new language and culture, Alicia not only embraced the unfamiliar, but she thrived in it. And that's so much of what she does for her own clients inside of marketing. Her early presence in this new culture laid the foundation for her ability to connect with diverse audiences and approach marketing from a truly global perspective. Alicia's journey from navigating the streets of Uruguay to conquering the digital landscapes of marketing is a saga of resilience and cultural fluency. It's a unique blend of personal growth and professional triumph that sets her apart in the marketing world. As a speaker and influencer, Alicia not only shares groundbreaking marketing strategies, but she imparts the invaluable lessons learned from her multicultural upbringing. Be prepared to be captivated not just by your marketing prowess, but by the remarkable journey that shaped her as a visionary marketer she is today. So as you listen in today, know that that's the backdrop of this human being. This is someone who's gone through life and seen all of the different ways that human beings consume information, the ways that we reach out for help, the times that we're too afraid to ask for help, and what that can do for you inside of your marketing journey. Pop in those earphones and let's get to it. Alicia, welcome to the Game On Girlfriend podcast. I'm so excited to talk to you today.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited, girlfriend, to be here. Really am.
Let's get this thing going. So much fun. So much fun. I think we have so many different topics to cover. But obviously, before we get all into that stuff, I read your bio in the intro, so people really know who you are. But now I have to ask you. We have people listening that are stuck in corporate and they're trying to get out. We have other people who've just started like their own business and they're like, oh my heavens, what is this? And so I love sharing personal stories. So I want to know from you, out of all of the things you could be doing on planet Earth right now, all of the many different ways you could have used your talents, why is this what you do?
I have always been a creative individual. Since I was a little girl, I've wanted to make things with my hands, paint, didn't have the confidence level to become a Picasso or any of those things. And so when computers came out and creating, your work or art, creative work on a computer of interest to me. So I went back to school. I went to school in my late 20s to become a designer. And then I also have a huge passion for helping people. And so I combined them both. And so now I run a business where I am taking my creative side and I build brands. I help small businesses really crush their visual presence. And I absolutely love what I do. So
I feel kind of like you took the Steve Jobs route because he started as a designer too. And he was like, became the master of all things tech, obviously, as we know. Yeah. But that idea, there's something about that design eye that just adds so much, I think, to your ability to see everything for a brand and everything that could be happening for a business. It's so cool.
It's kind of a gift I have. It's like a natural gift. You know how some people are blessed with like these natural gifts, and musicians, that they have the voice. They're a whiz on a guitar like nobody's like you, right? There's something about my marketing prowess and the strategies that I build and the way that I see your brand and your business that it's just very uniquely me. And usually it helps my people. So I just run with it. I stop fighting it and I just embrace it heavily. And my customers win because of it.
There we go. That's what we want to hear. I love it. You guys should know I was going to ask her this. So Alicia, I'm totally putting you on the spot. I'm so sorry. But do you have like a really fun customer story that you could share with us where it was just like they thought their brand was one thing and then they started working with you and it turned into something else, or they were able to see things a little bit more broadly?
So one of my successes when I started my business is I like to niche down. So there are a million designers in the world. There are a million graphic people in the world. What makes me unique and special, right? So part of my backstory, if you will indulge me for a few minutes, is I used to run a in-house marketing department for a very large valve manufacturer in the Carolinas, ball valves, mixing valves, baffle renters, stuff that your average
super sexy
listen to, stuff super sexy. America. I work in a lane and I serve people that run America. It's the behind the scenes, what's behind your wall. It's the reason you have clean water in your faucet. Okay, and to bathe your babies in, okay? So I run lanes, I work with people in this space. And so as I've grown in my career and worked in that lane, I've realized that there was a real need for the services that I provide, for the marketing strategy, for my branding and creative services. And then I decided to start my business. And I serve a lot of businesses, but I really excel in that lane because I understand who they are, what they do, how they do it, their pain points, the pressures on them, the commission structures that get paid upon or don't get paid upon, the thinking of their customers, what it means to buy an American-made product, what that entails. There's just so much that I actually bring to the table that I upcycled my career and I turned it into a thriving business that, like, I care about my customers because that, at the end of the day, if you're my friend, if I work with you, if you're my neighbor, I care about you and your success and whatever you're doing. And I brought that into my business. And so with that caring eye and that caring heart, I serve my clients because they all, we work with people that there's a lot of pressures that are placed on our the people that we serve, and they're looking for resources. They're looking for help. And so I love being that on every level to my people. Probably a really long answer, but sorry, I just felt compelled to share. And so by niching down, and it really helped me grow something that's really special and serves. It helps the people inside of my business because I provide jobs. I provided income for me, my family, and I serve the people on the outside, which are the business owners that really, I also help them grow and get recognized and get seen. And so in that process, I'll find I work with a lot of family-owned businesses, like second and third generation are very stuck in their brand and the logo they've had for 50 years. And I don't know, I can't get by it. And so because I get that a year and a half ago, there's a client I serve in St. Augustine, Florida, and family and run business. And, she took it over from the dad and her brothers worked there. And so there's a little she wasn't sure, but I'm great at what I do. And because I understand where she comes from, I was able to create a brand that worked for them. I rebranded them entirely with all their messaging. And because of that, they got even extra notice this year. They won all kinds of awards in their industry. She's like a woman in industry. And I feel like I get a crush on it because it's like I know that I had a hand in that recognition. And that alone, that right there is worth it for me.
Oh, I can imagine. So it's almost like what I'm hearing is really almost like this breath of fresh air into the brand, especially if someone is attached to the quote unquote old ways, or this is the way it's always been, this is the way it always has to be, like that kind of a feeling that you kind of can revive the original vision of the brand and bring it up to date. That's so cool.
You need to learn what to say to folks, right? And a lot of people, older generation, are kind of stuck in a certain mindset. I don't need to be on social media, blah. I don't need to invest in my marketing and my business's image, blah. Well, when anybody from anywhere in the world has a cell phone and look up what you do in about 5 seconds, even in the most underdeveloped countries, they'll have cell phones too. Mm-hmm. So at some point, you have to care about how you look and represent yourself to the world, even if you are a small business. I think it just lends a certain image of who you are. It's no different than walking out of the house and at least start running a brush through your hair and putting on some clean clothes. That's what it's about at this point. It's about turning to that.
Oh, I love that. So it's really like, I mean, it's really about like turning the basics back on, right? Getting back to what you would want people to say when you weren't in the room, but as a business. Fair?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What is one thing that you wish more businesses knew that they don't about marketing?
Some things I think that business owners don't understand is the fact that they really need to invest in creating a marketing plan for themselves, even no matter what you do for a living. So I'll give you an example of one of the pain points that I see inside of my clients' businesses. They don't want to invest, and they'll say, hey, my sales guy will deal with that. I'll get my sales guy to do that. So one of the services I provide inside of my business is we do social media engagement for our clients. And because I work in that specialty niche, a little bit more, not challenging. It's a job. It's actual work that needs to be done. It always breaks my heart when I hear one of my clients say that they're going to take their sales guy that should be on the road landing $500,000 deals and $1 million deals, that you're going to waste his time on something that you could literally pay my organization or somebody else to do this work for you, but you're so limited in your thinking about what the task about that marketing could just be done by anybody. Well, wouldn't you want someone that maybe specializes in your industry to bring you some new insights and some new data and new tech and AI and help your business really stand out? A lot of people think that they have to do it alone. You don't. There are a lot of resources, podcasts like this, for instance, right, that you can come in and get ideas and learn from other business owners and get strategy from others, right? So if you don't think marketing at your business is needed, then even if you just clean houses for a living, how are you going to attract any new business and grow if you don't invest in your business's marketing plan, even if it's not a lot of money?
I love that.
Start somewhere, even if it's using online software like Canva to create graphics for you, because it at least gives you a head start of put something together that looks nice, and you don't need someone like me. I don't have a big ego that I can't see the need that serves for that smaller business owner that doesn't have the budget for people like me and you, right? And so there are so many options out there for you to actually just take a step forward that you have to just try if you want to be seen. And if you want to be seen and you want your business, even if you're a solopreneur, to crush, you've got to have a marketing plan. You've got to invest some money, some time, and to surround yourself with the right people to make something happen. Because if you don't, you're not going to grow. You are going to be stuck in the mud. And I love that.
But I think what you said,
nothing.
Right. And you don't want to, God, we've all poured so much into our businesses, right? We have all these beautiful ideas. I think almost everybody listening or who would be attracted to this podcast wants to make a difference. They want to help people. They want to change the course of something that really matters to them. And marketing can sort of fall by the wayside. It's a lot like sales. I teach a lot around sales, but it's never something that people really want to. I mean, yes, they want the revenue to increase, but I find this resistance about feeling nervous or showing up like a used car salesman or sounding like everybody else. Or, I can kind of get the trend on Instagram that I kept trying to pull people off of, which was, all of these women in midlife dancing and pointing at the air. I was like, maybe don't do that. Maybe you can come up with your own brand marketing that actually fits with you. And I think what you're saying that's so important inside of this whole big confusing world, when it's a whole other job that has to get done on top of the job everybody's created by starting their business. Now there's this new one. I think you said something I really hope people heard, which is, why would you not hire someone who's an expert in that space? It's almost like, I have really bad back pain, I'm going to go to the podiatrist. It's like, no, go to the person who's a specialist in this one thing so that you can really get the care, the support, and the advancement that you need. And I really wanted to pin that down because I thought that was really, really important.
One thing I'd like to share is that I think we we as business owners feel that we need to take on the burden of ourselves because we can't afford a thing, right? So you think, I can't afford this, I can't afford that. There are so many different options to get assistance out there, and you're never going to grow unless you ask for help. And also, if you're not a specialist in a specific area, why on earth are you going to keep trying to do something that's not your jam? It's going to take 10 times as long. And what's going to happen is that you're going to spend time working in your business when you should be working on your business, right? So one of the things that I've really been taught lately in some of the rooms that I'm in is that I have to really focus on spending more time on my business and not in my business. And so people need to look for those resources. So one of the first people that I hired, so you don't even have to hire people, you can hire contractors. More people are very happy to work with you on a contract basis. You're afraid of taxes. I can't deal with it. I promise you'll find a contractor that's more than happy to fill your need, right? But one of the first people that I hired inside of my business was a bookkeeper.
Oh, for sure. I think that's so important, Alicia. I'm really glad you said that.
I just have QuickBooks. I'll do it myself. Do you really?
Yeah,
I just had a conversation with a business owner yesterday, and we were talking about that she was going to do her own. Like one of them was doing they have like the TurboTax and they're doing everything for free, and the other one says, "No, I have an accountant that actually does my taxes every year." When you get professional help in a specific area of business, even if you could do it yourself, they know so much more than you. My bookkeeper doesn't even charge a lot of money for that monthly service. And that's the thing is I think there's a stigma around, it's going to cost so much. It's a lot more affordable than you think. Bringing outside resources to help serve specific lanes in your business that you keep tying your hands up with that you have no business doing. Like, I understand that we're all got this do-it-ourselves mentality. We're going to wear 55 hats. But at the end of the day, that does not work for your business's long-term growth. Because what's going to happen to you as a human? Burnt out, done, spent, and wanting to quit.
Yeah, I think what we hear a lot, Alicia, that leads to that I think is so important we actually call out is this: pick yourself up by the bootstraps, get super scrappy. What the hell's wrong with you? You've got to hustle. And I think, of course, right, there is something to working very hard in business and making sure you understand the risks and really diving in. And I'm a big fan of being scrappy too. Like, I have a favorite phrase. I tell all my clients, I'm like, GTS it, baby. That stands for Google that shit, right? Like, just Google it, man. Like, you can pretty much learn anything. And when it comes to very serious things like money or health insurance, right, or even disability insurance for business owners, those sorts of things, I think we can start to turn that over to people who that's all they do. And then I think right after that, to your point, is marketing and sales. Because if we're not growing, all that other stuff, all that other hustling, all the stuff all the sleepless nights, the times we've all freaking learned HTML to just get a site up for whatever we could do, right? Okay, I will dance and point at the air. All the stuff people have done, right? At some point, none of that will matter if we're not bringing in new revenue in order to pay the bills or pay ourselves. And I think it's this moment for so many entrepreneurs to understand the balance between those two things. Like what I finally, because I love me an Excel spreadsheet. I'm like such a geek, right? I love numbers. I love money. I love spreadsheets, right? And I've done my own books for way too long, mostly because I loved it and I'm crazy. But once I finally hired a bookkeeper, I'm so embarrassed. They saved me so much freaking money because they knew how to actually categorize things properly where I would sort of figure it out. And it wasn't like it was a catastrophic amount of money, but they definitely pay for themselves and what they find for me every year by categorizing the expenses inside the business properly. And that is a lesson I love to talk about because it's not like I didn't know what I was doing, but I'm not an expert. And there is such a gap between sort of knowing how to do something and hiring an expert. And I think in business, that can be a really hard line for us to see sometimes.
I'd like to add one other thing in. I'd like to talk about a mistake I made in my business because
I love it. I love those stories.
Because we're talking about money. We're talking about money and we're talking about professional services. So a reason why you'd want to get your numbers, no matter what you do for a business. So even though I had a bookkeeper and she was doing the thing, I didn't think I needed to know my business monthly numbers. I didn't think it was important because that's like one person. It didn't really matter, right? And I didn't want to pay that extra to get reporting because I just, I'm going to say that out loud. Still with bookkeeper.
So important.
And also I hired a friend. I'll just start with that. I hired a friend to work for me. Found out after year one, we were doing our fifth year, that this friend didn't bill out a third of her time. I'm a service-based business. So that was over $100,000 in lost revenue because
oh my goodness.
of the fact that I wasn't looking at my numbers monthly because I didn't think I needed to, you see. And so even if you're doing your books yourself, are you looking at your numbers monthly? Someone who's a professional in that field is going to know what your averages should be. So if you're a restaurant, they're going to know where your food costs need to be and your labor costs. Right now, my focus for what I do is labor costs, right? Because I am a service-based business. I employ people. So my life changed when I started looking at my numbers.
Yeah, and it changes everything.
It does change everything.
Mm-hmm.
It also makes you a stronger business owner. Even if you're a solopreneur, it gives you all the tools and the information that you need to make educated decisions like that. I'll give you a crazy example. So the president of Goldman Sachs has a business dashboard that man checks 5 times a day.
I believe it. Yeah, I believe that.
Of a huge financial institution, and the man you would think would not need to checks it 5 times a day. What makes you any different than that organization?
Such a good question. But I think, too, what you're pointing to that's so great about monthly, right, is you really start to see what levers you need to pull. Like, oh, we're spending a little bit too much there. We're not saving enough here. But then you also know that I think this is so important. I think this is what we miss. And this is where I think marketing can come in, is if we don't know our monthly burn rate, meaning how much money we spend in the business every month. How much money does the business need in order to survive? We can pull that out for 6 months, and now we can create an emergency fund. So if for some reason everything stops, we still have enough money for 6 months. But the other thing it lets us know is if that's starting to get close, right? If that slowdown is starting to come in, we can take 1 month out of that emergency fund and put it towards marketing to have it start to go in the right direction again, to slow down the slowdown, right? So it's like, oh, we need to start spending more money on marketing and to be able to have those funds at the ready to slow down any slowdown that's headed our way, if that makes sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's no different than if you have a business, or so put it this way, you are an Olympian and you want to go to the Olympics, right? So that's your business. The business wants to go to the Olympics. Does business not have coaches and people that play in to make that business?
Preach on it, sister. Preach on it, sister. Yeah, that's right.
And I think another thing too is that we as humans are afraid to ask for help. Let's just say that out loud. And so if you're stuck in a place where you think you're an entrepreneur, solopreneur, and you have to go it alone because you got to do it yourself and you don't want to ask for help, the tides are shifting.
Yeah.
It's okay to ask for help. You're not thought less of. You actually thought more of.
That's right. You actually look smarter. Yeah. I think you're
smarter.
Right.
So if you're one of those people that's too proud to ask for help, or you're too stubborn, if you want to survive and crush, you need to break those chains that are limiting you and find communities or other business owners like you and put yourself in a space where you can grow and ask for help. Ask for it because it's
Love that. So let's say someone's listening right now, Alicia, and they're like, oh my gosh, I don't even know what a marketing effort is. I don't know how to look at this. Where would you advise someone to just simply get started? What's like maybe 1 or 2 steps, someone who's never really been diving into marketing, what could they do today to sort of open this door for themselves?
First and foremost, I would really pay attention and get to know who your end users are, who your clients are, your potential clients, right? So you really want to see the spaces and the places those folks hang out in, right? So in my world, in most of the people I serve, I won't find those people on Facebook. Probably not. May find them on Instagram. They may be on Twitter, but they're all up in LinkedIn 10 times twice on Sunday. Okay. So say like you have a construction business, right? But you do commercial construction. So, you're probably going to want to be hanging out on those platforms, right? But say like say you're in the fashion lane and you have a brand of children's clothing that you need to market, you need to be all up on Instagram.
Right.
Right. So first and foremost, you just need to you need to find out where your clients are and then start building a marketing strategy around how you're going to attack that. If your clients, your ideal clients are on Facebook or on Instagram, good news. Meta offers you free software to schedule all your stuff and track your metrics. So you don't even have to spend any money there. And there's lots of videos and a lot of instructional that can help you guide you through that little myriad of whatever, Meta and Facebook are doing. But you just need to start and you need to find a platform. And then the next step would be all right, what's your message? what are you trying to get across? Who are you trying to attract? And then start building a conversation around your clients or these people you're trying to attract, their pain points, the things that they're interested in, providing value to your viewers, right? Providing value in the form of either blog posts or articles, or so me being in the lanes that I run in, I'll have conversations about artificial intelligence and how I'm using ChatGPT inside my business to craft better landing pages and better emails. And even if my customers have no interest in doing it themselves, they're learning with me through that journey. And so then they feel a little bit more empowered too, because they're learning about all the crazy new tech that's out there. So those are just some ways that you can start to create some kind of a marketing, program for your business, depending on your type of website. Creating a blog about whatever you're the subject matter expert in is another way to create marketing tools, or, because it's a blog post on your website that's searchable. It becomes SEO content. It also can turn into a social media post for you for all over your channels, right? And then it's also a talking feature for yourself. So there's so many things that you can do to draw attention to yourself in the right ways. So another easy little marketing tactic that you can do to because the reality is that people want to do business with people they believe are industry experts in what they're looking for. And so it's your job to build that persona of who you are online. That's what your job is. And that's your, marketing is really different than advertising in the phone book, because those are,
what is that?
Right? Yeah, they have exactly what that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or like, or advertising an actual print publication, because now you could have a box this big on a website and that's now an ad, right? Like,
I know
marketing and just everything in general it's changed so much, but you shouldn't be afraid of it. In what you said, ask Google, baby. For me, I joke, Auntie ChatGPT helps me write a lot of content, right? Mm-hmm. Even help me build training modules inside of my business, right?
So
Can you imagine?
No, I mean,
because I'm not afraid to try something new.
No, I can't imagine just even 3 years ago how much it's helped and supported people. I always tell people, make sure you edit it after ChatGPT spits it out. But yeah, it's really a very powerful tool, and we're so lucky. Well, Alicia, thank you so much for stopping over with us girlfriends and spending some time with us today. I really appreciate it. And if somebody's like, hey, I think I'm ready to dive into marketing a little bit more and they're interested in working with you, where should people go?
The best place to find me. So if you're on LinkedIn, you can find me, Alicia Branham, pretty easy. On Instagram, I'm the real Alicia Branham, because apparently there's way more Alicia Branhams than I ever knew. So I had to adopt that name, the real Alicia Branham. Hi, I'm real. Those are the two best places to get a hold of me. You could also find my website, getbran.com, GETBRAN, because my last name is Branham. My business is brand marketing, because brand is good for you.
Oh, I love it. That's so cute. Oh, my God. Alicia, thank you so much. I so appreciate your time. And I have a feeling we help some people not be so afraid of marketing today. Thanks.
I think so, too. Thank you so much for having me. It's so great to be here.